Okay, hello everyone, am I audible? Hello.
Yes, we can hear you properly.
Yes, audible. You can continue.
All right. So, hello everyone, good evening. Welcome to today's webinar. Today's webinar is on bug bounty hunting, where we'll learn about some easy to find vulnerabilities. Like these vulnerabilities are not, looked by most of the attackers. Most of the attackers ignore these kind of like they avoid finding these kind of vulnerabilities. So, like these are unlike the common vulnerabilities like XSS and SQL injection. We'll learn about some like unique vulnerabilities which are like less likely to find by any like great bug bounty hunter or any big hacker. So there are lots of chances that you will most probably find these kind of vulnerabilities in websites, and it will help you in your bug bounty career. So definitely the reason we choose these kind of vulnerabilities is that like everyone, like all companies and every people teach these kind of common vulnerabilities like XSS, SQL injection and CSRF, etc. But like we chose to bring something new to everyone, so that like it actually helps you and like give you a benefit in your bug bounty hunting career and in your overall hacking career. So basically, we'll cover few of like unique vulnerabilities today. One of that is, okay. Let me just share my screen and present you. Just a second. Okay, tell me, is my screen visible? All right, is my screen visible to everyone?
No.
Okay, now.
Yeah, it's okay. Now it's good.
Yes, it's visible now.
All right. Okay, so here are the vulnerabilities. So first is bug bounty hunting, easy to find website vulnerabilities. We'll basically discover hidden vulnerabilities on website that most attacker overlook through this interesting webinar by Nextgen Cybersafe. Okay, so yep, this webinar is organized by Nextgen Cybersafe, which is cybersecurity training organization, which like provides cybersecurity training, bug bounty training, ethical hacking training. Okay, so next is first of all we'll learn about IDOR. Anyone have idea about IDOR vulnerability? This is very common vulnerability, and like you can easily find these kind of vulnerabilities by using various methods. So anyone, is anyone aware about IDOR? Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, it's audible.
Okay, wait a second, maybe there is a technical issue from my side. Let me just, okay, all right. Okay, so is anyone aware about IDOR? You can also type in message, or you can like just open your mic and tell about it. Anyone? Okay, no worries. So basically, IDOR stands for Insecure Direct Object Reference. So, like when we talk about IDOR, this vulnerability is basically okay. Let's understand about it. What is IDOR? So it occurs when a web application exposes an object reference that can be manipulated to access unauthorized data. So basically, let's just understand it with a simple example. Like there is a website in which there is a feature of viewing user profile. Okay, so basically, for example, understand the URL is profile.xyz.com/profile.php, and then there is a parameter. Do you know what is parameter? Everyone aware about parameter, right? Okay, let me just explain. Basically xyz.com slash profile dot php, and uh, after like this question mark there are different kind of like values given in the URL, so that are considered parameters, and the values given in parameter are used by this php or whatever file to like specific give the specific result to user. So basically if the xyz.com slash profile.php question mark id parameter is set to 1, then profile of user with user id 1 will be given. Okay, if it is 2, then profile of user id 2, 3 then profile of user id 3. Okay, it's a simple logic. So basically what if like for example understand that if I click on profile icon in my website and my user id is 2. Okay, and it will basically what it will do is it will like in the url it will be xyz.com slash profile.php and id is equal to 2. As I said, my id is 2. Okay, and what if I change the id? What if I change the id to 5? And for example, let's pick someone from our meet, Abhi Tomar. Okay, so for example, the Abhi Tomar also have account on that website, and his user ID is 1. And what if I change my user ID in the URL from 2 to 1? What will happen? I'll be able to access the profile and details of Abhi Tomar, and like basically I don't have, obviously I don't have access to that kind of data, his data, but still I'll be able to access his data. And for like a great example, we can we can take reference for bank website. If I have a bank portal where like my financial details are written and everything, and on that profile if I am able to change the id parameter and get details of someone else's bank and etc., then it's basically very like serious vulnerability. And okay, we just won't understand it theoretically, we'll also go for practicals, so you will get a better understanding of these vulnerabilities. Okay, so let's just complete this slide, then we'll go for practical. So okay, this is done. Then identify idol, like basically you understood what is idol, right? Everyone okay? Is do like any doubts? Do anyone have any kind of doubt about idol? First of all, we'll have to understand what is idol. Once we understand it, then we'll identify idol, like we'll learn how to identify idol, how to find it, and after that we'll learn how to exploit it. Okay, so here is how to identify IDOR. So look for an sequential ID in URL, API response, and data model that can be altered. So basically IDOR, like it doesn't only belong to URLs. We can like exploit IDOR in WebSockets, GraphQL, API, and many more. So like GraphQL, WebSocket, these are some complicated topics. So okay, maybe we'll cover that in future sessions. Okay, but for now let's focus on basic like API and URL. So basically for API we can like the API sends data in JSON format, right? Generally in JSON format. So for example the same thing is happening through ID. For example, like let's say uh, did anyone hear about this incident recently? Instagram had this idor vulnerability where basically a person, what he did is Instagram has a feature in highlights where we can upload thumbnail for our highlight and our reels. There are thumbnails like YouTube, we can also add thumbnails to Instagram reels and Instagram highlights. So what he did is basically he like added a thumbnail, and once he captured the request had a parameter called reel id or maybe the profile id. So basically he copied a profile id of another user and pasted it there. So what happened is the thumbnail was uploaded to that victim's profile instead of his profile. So basically like this is very serious action, like we are able to perform operations in someone else's account in websites like Instagram. So as I said, idor is very underrated vulnerability, and you can guess like even the Instagram didn't notice this kind of vulnerabilities, and it's way easy. Like you just have to get or copy someone else's user id or profile id and replace it with yours. in the URL or in the API, and it will basically perform the action and exploit the vulnerability. So it's very easy and it's very common in websites, and the bounties for ITOR are also very high, like decent. It's not P1, but yep, it provide decent kind, like decent amount of bounties they provide. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. Okay, this one is remaining. Okay, so exploiting ITOR to modify IDs to access sensitive information like private user detail or administrative functions. So as I said, we can modify the ID parameter and access sensitive information like someone else's information or perform any administrative function. So I give you example of both of these scenarios. One I said was the bank example, right, that we can access someone else's financial details and all. And second example I gave of Instagram. Okay, that was a real example. Actually, that kind of vulnerability was recently found in Instagram. So yep, so both are these example of IDORs. And as I said, this is very underrated vulnerability once again. So like among all these vulnerabilities here, IDOR is most common. So like there are high chances of you finding this vulnerability. Okay, so let's move on to our practical. This is basically ports figure. Is my screen visible, right? Okay, wait, I have to share my Chrome window. Let me just share it. Okay, is my screen visible now?
Yes, yes.
Alright, so this is ports figure, and here let's find iDoor. All content, all labs. We'll solve some basic labs of iDoor. So like we'll just understand the basic about these kind of vulnerabilities, cause it will take time for us to cover all the labs. Here is iDoor. So there is only one lab available here, but okay, that's the reason that so many people also like don't have idea about these vulnerabilities. Okay, so basically in this ports figure you can learn about different kind of vulnerabilities. So it's very great if you are beginner in bug bounty hunting or like web application penetration testing. It will be very helpful for you in that case. Okay, let me just open my Bob suit. Okay, now I shared my entire screen. Okay, so like you can ask your doubts if anyone have any kind of doubt about these vulnerabilities or any other general doubt about bug bounty hunting until like our burp suit is opening. Okay, let's see the solution what we are supposed to do here. Select the live chat tab, send a message, then select view transcript. Review the URL and observe that the transcript are text file assigned a file name containing the increment number. Change the file name to 1.txt and review the text. Notice the password within the chat transcript. Okay, got it. Okay, it's taking like time more than I expected. And also those who aren't able to attend this session right now will provide the recording for the session through YouTube. So it's all right, you can like again watch the session to clear your doubts. Okay, and by the way, those who haven't joined our WhatsApp group, you can join our community by joining our WhatsApp group. There you can ask questions about like bug bounty hunting, and you can also know about upcoming webinars. So at the end of the meet I'll provide the WhatsApp group link, so you can join it. Okay. Alright, so our bob suit is now working, so let's send a simple message here. Okay, maybe I'll have to delete this. Okay, it's working. Okay, so like everyone know what is burp suit, right? Why it is used and what is burp suit. Okay, everyone is aware about it, right? Okay, good. Let's just transfer Smith or okay, next gen cybersafe. Send it. Okay, let's see. Let's observe the URLs. Ready. Okay, this is a WebSocket message. Okay, this will be a bit complicated, but it's alright. I'll explain it. Okay, so basically, WebSocket, you can see WebSocket is basically it will firstly it will connect once it will establish a connection. Then we won't need like those big requests every time. It will just like connect to both systems once, and then once it is connected, basically once both systems are connected, and the message will transfer directly without any kind of extra connection or headers. Okay, so this is a basic example of WebSocket. So it's a wide topic, so we'll learn about it in future. Okay, so let's click on view transcript. Okay, actually the ports speaker didn't had that basic lab which I like, the kind I wanted, but it's all right. Okay, so we got the transcript here. Okay, now I got it. So it is basically the chat. Okay, so like we can download the chat, what conversation we had with that specific person. We can download it as a txt file. So there's a function in this website. So what we'll do is, okay, view transcript, let's download it. All right, and now let's just send the request. Oops. Okay, let's send the request, see the response of it. Okay, in the response we can see the transcript 2 or 3 1. Okay, so basically we'll change this to 1. So basically this is 302 found, this is redirecting us to this specific location. So maybe the 2.txt was our file, so we can assume that 1.txt is someone else's file, right? Someone else's chat file which is stored in the website, and we can access that by just manipulating these numbers here. So by default it was 2 and now it became 3. So okay, obviously there is some 1.txt already exists in their system. So let's just download it and see what happens. Okay, this is the file, let's open it. Done, we got someone else's chat, right? We are able to access someone else's chat by just modifying a single parameter, like a single number, changing 2 from 1, like from 2 to 1. We just changed 2 from txt to 1.txt, and it gave us access to someone else's chat in the website. And here we have the password. Okay, and let's see if we can also find a username. If we are able to find the username, then done, we'll able to log in. Okay, I think the lab description gave us the username. Okay, this is the Carlos user, so we can just go here and write Carlos password, and done. We are able to log in, like we are able to take over someone else's account, get his password just by changing a single number. This is what iDoor is. So you can assume how dangerous and sensitive this vulnerability is. Okay, so iDoor is done. Any doubts in iDoor? If there aren't any, then we can just move to next vulnerability. Any doubts? Okay, so let's just move to next vulnerability, and this is SSRF. Our next vulnerability is SSRF. So what is SSRF? Anyone? Anyone know what is SSRF? You can turn on your mic, it's all right, and you can also like write in chat if you have any doubts, or like if you want to give the answer of my questions. All right, anyone?
SSRF is the basically server-side request forgery. The attacker may many exploit for the server, then server not responsible for the all request at a time. That is called server-side request forgery.
All right, you are partially correct. Okay, let me just explain it in detail so you get to know about this vulnerability perfectly. So what is SSRF? It allows an attacker to force the server to make unauthorized requests to internal or external resources. So basically, SSRF is we are making a server send the request to someone else. Like generally, if we visit a website, if we perform any action, then we send the request and server returns the response. What if we use a technique which lets us the server will send the request to someone else, or any website, or even its own internal assets. So for example, let's assume that in a website we want to access some internal resources like admin panel. Okay, we want to access the admin panel. If we send the request to admin panel's page like xyz.com slash admin, okay, what will happen? It will block us, right? Because we don't have access to admin panel. But what if the server sends the request to admin panel? Obviously the server is authorized, and he'll be like the server will be able to access the admin page, correct? So this is what is like basically happening here. We are making the server send the request to its internal assets or any other websites. It's a bit complicated, but once I go to practical session, you will understand it. So using burp collaborator. Burp collaborator, anyone have idea about what is burp collaborator? Burp suite collaborator is basically best way you can find SSR vulnerability. Here you can see my screen, right? The burp suite. Is my burp suite screen visible?
Yeah, it's proper.
Okay, what happened? Wait, let me maximize it. This is some kind of glitch. Shit, wait, let me just check it. Okay, finally. Okay, so what is SSRF? We covered that. Okay, so burp collaborator is a tool in burp suite which we can use to find SSRF vulnerability. Okay, so let's see the potential impact of SSRF. SSRF can lead to data breaches, network access, and server side code execution. So basically, like as I said, this is very critical vulnerability. SSRF is a server side vulnerability. So yep, it has a great impact on the system. Like not great, it has worse impact on the system. And it is great for us as a bug bounty hunters. So we can find this vulnerability easily. It is not as easy as iDoor, but Yep, it is also an easy vulnerability which we can find. And I hope you are learning some new vulnerabilities, unlike like SQL injection and cross-site scripting. These are something new which will actually help you in your bug bounty career, cause like XSS and SQL injection are very, like very overrated, and most of the attackers and hunters look for those kind of vulnerabilities. So you are less likely to find those kind of vulnerabilities in website as a beginner bug bounty hunter. Okay, so let's move on to the practical. I know this one is a bit complicated, but once like you see the practical, you'll understand it properly. Server side request forgery here. Okay, so luckily Burpsuit, not Burpsuit, the Ports Vigor, the parent company of Burpsuit, has 7 labs for these vulnerabilities, so you can master it, almost like understand the core topic and how to find it. Most probably this also have the expert level lab, so you can master this vulnerability. So okay, let's see. Let's open our lab. And also till then, if anyone have any kind of doubt, not about these vulnerabilities, any other like general doubt in bug bounty hunting or web application penetration testing, ethical hacking, then you can ask. I'll try my best to like answer you properly. Okay, so we have the function to check stock here. Okay, so basically this is a product, lazy dog. This is not a real product, this is like just a dummy product, and this is also a dummy website. Okay, so the price is $20. For example, I want to buy this product, I'll check the stock for this product. I'll click check stock. It gives the result 708 units. Everything seems normal, right? We click the check stock option, and it returned us the list of the stock, number of stock, how much stock is available. So like everything seems normal. Okay, now let's get into hacking. So let's click on check stock. Okay, see the request, it has a stock API URL. So what happening here, well, like basically what is happening here, if we like check the stock for specific product, then it sends the request, the server sends a request to this specific URL, this specific domain, and it will like this is basically a API. This is a API domain, and this API will return number of stock, like the number of stock for that specific product, and then website will show it to us. So basically what if we change this to 127.0.0.1. Okay, I missed the colon, and slash admin. Let's see what happens. Let's just send this one to repeater, so it will be easy for us. Okay, we can see the admin details here, right? There are options to delete usernames and all. So we can see the server sent the request to admin panel here. Okay, let's try by sending it ourselves, like okay, let's go. All right, and now let's try to send request to admin. Okay, admin interface is only available if logged in as administrator or if requested from loopback. Okay, so basically I don't have admin access, so basically I don't have admin privileges, as I said, and I cannot access it by myself, right? All right, and now let's see. uh, okay, so basically what happened here is we are able to access the admin section, right? Admin panel here. In the response we can see admin panel. Okay, let's just do one thing, copy this, and we'll have to do it in normal request, so we can see the response in like graphical response. We can see the graphical response. Okay, here let's just paste this URL. So okay, everyone is understanding, right? Like what is happening. 127.0.01 is basically localhost. It's their own system, and we access their system slash admin. So what basically, like, it just send the request to their own systems. Okay, and if I send the same request to slash admin, then I won't be able to access. But what if the website itself, the server sends the request? Then obviously the server is, like, server have the permissions to access those directories, so it will be able to access it, right? So let's just forward this request and see the response. Here we can, along with this, we can also see the admin panel at, like, down here. So what are we supposed to do here is, we want to delete the username Carlos. Okay, we want to delete the user Carlos. Let's see the objective. Yep. Admin, access the admin interface at this domain and delete the user Carlos. Good. So let's just click this and see what happens. Okay, this is the URL for it. Let's see what is the response. Let's just forward all the request. 401 unauthorized. Why this happened? Because we don't have permission to do this. So what we'll have to do is, we'll again have to make the website send the request. Okay, so http colon slash slash 127.0.0.1, and we know the path, right? This is the path to delete the specific user. Let's capture the response. Okay, and okay, I missed it. It was 302 found and could not fetch stock, but the user is deleted, right? I hope everyone understand what this vulnerability is. Those actions like deleting a user and accessing admin panel are very sensitive operations, and we are not able to perform those operations. But as a website, as a server, it has the permission to perform these kind of actions. So we force the website to send the request in behalf of us and perform our malicious actions. So this is also very serious vulnerability, which resulted in deleting a user account, right? So this is also very serious vulnerability. Okay, now let's move on to the next vulnerability in the list. It is authentication issues. So basically, weak passwords, lack of MFA, credential stuffing, session management. So authentication and authorization vulnerabilities are also like a good choice for you to like find in a website. So basically, like weak password and lack of multi-factor authentication, we can also identify it as 2FA, two-factor authentication. Then credential stuffing, test if the stolen credential from one site can be reused on another. Okay, and session management, analyze how the sessions are created, stored and validated by the application. Okay, do you know about a website called Pastebin? Most probably the name was Pastebin. Here we can find the leaked credentials, user IDs, password and etc. On the Pastebin we can find like these kind of leaked credentials. So if we are able to find any old password for this website, or let's just assume that I am the admin of this website, Portsfigure, and at my admin panel I have the password Smith123, and on the other website, for example Instagram, I have the same password Smith123. If my password is leaked, like my Instagram password is leaked, and someone tries the same password, like there is a like common human nature that we use multiple like same password at multiple website and multiple applications. Maybe most of you guys also like do the same thing, right? Like using the same password in every or multiple sites, right? So basically, if our one of the website's data is leaked, then our all social media accounts or our admin panel and wherever, like at every single place where we use that same password will be hacked, right? So it is crucial to use multiple password for multiple platform. Matlab, I mean different password for different platform. Okay, so credential stuffing and then session management. Analyze how the sessions are created, stored, and validated by the application. So basically, like, okay, wait. So let's see, analyze how the sessions are created, stored, and validated by the application. So basically, in some like very like rarely in some websites, sensitive details are stored in cookies and sessions. So we can see the session management, and also in some of the website the user id is used in like session, and then it can be used to like get the user information. For example, understand there my website has a cookie called user id. In user id my user id is stored, and if I click on profile, then to prevent the idor, what I do is basically I remove this parameter from here, and I will implement a system which will bring the id from my cookie, and then like give me detail for corresponding user. So if like my cookies user id is 1, then I'll get when I visit profile.php, I'll get the user details of like id 1, right? So what if I change my cookie? Then same thing, I'll be able to access someone else's account or someone else's details. So basically session management is very crucial in websites. Okay, and everyone who are joining late, don't worry, we have the recording for this session. Maybe we had a small technical issue in between, but most of the session is like recorded, so you can view it in, or like you can watch it on YouTube. We'll upload it later. Okay, so next is authorization issues, most probably. Yep. Next are authorization issues. So vertical privilege escalation, horizontal privilege escalation, insecure direct object reference as we covered earlier, and insufficient access control. So basically what is vertical privilege escalation? So vertical privilege escalation like allows you to gain access to functionality or data beyond one's intended permission. Okay, so basically like privilege escalation have two types, vertical and horizontal. So basically for example, in the vertical privilege escalation, we can access the like sensitive operations of someone who have more access or privileges than us. Basically, if we are a normal user and we are able to perform admin operations, then it is vertical privilege escalation, where the operations we are performing are like maybe those operations can't be performed by us since we don't have permission to do it, right? So basically if I'm able to access the admin panel, a simple example, if I'm able to access the admin panel, then it's vertical privilege escalation. And since like basically accessing admin panel is the admin privilege, right? And if I'm able to do it, then I am like able to access someone's detail who have more privileges than me, the admin's details. And if I'm able to access someone else's detail who is on my level, the like he has the same level of privileges as me. So for example, if I'm a bank customer and someone else like Abhishek is also a bank customer, if I'm able to access Abhishek's bank details and his profile, then it's horizontal privilege escalation, because Abhishek also have the same level of privileges as I have, because I am also the customer, Abhishek is also the customer. What if Abhishek is admin and he has access to admin panel? If I am able to also like if I am also able to access the admin panel, then it is vertical privilege escalation, since Abhishek is a admin and I am a normal user, so he has higher privileges than me, and I am able to perform such operations who only admins can like perform or access, right? So this is the basic difference between vertical and horizontal privilege escalation. And also we one more thing, we provide training in both English and Hindi language, so we'll also take few Hindi sessions and few English sessions. So like everyone can understand it. Okay, and we'll try to add captions, Hindi captions and English captions in our session, so like everyone can understand it properly. Okay, so next is insecure direct object reference. So as I like told you earlier, everyone is aware about IDOR, right? Now next is insufficient access control. So identify sensitive action or resources that lack proper access restriction. Basically these are vulnerabilities in authorization. What are issues, like what can be issues in authorization, what can be issues in authentication, right? So here lack of 2F is basically if the website is missing two-factor authentication, then it's a authentication issue, right? Then credential stuffing is the authentication issue. Samely in the authorization, here are the authorization issues, like what can be vulnerabilities, what are the common vulnerabilities related to authorization. So this is vertical privilege escalation, horizontal privilege escalation, IDOR, and insufficient access control. So basically sometimes what happens is in the website we are like it is the default behavior of website that we are able to access some sensitive details. Like for example, the website has slash admin page. Okay, the website has admin page, and if a normal user is able to access it without any kind of using hacking techniques, like not IDO, not SSRF, not anything, just normal, without, like if a normal user with its normal privileges is able to access the admin panel, then it is lack of access control. The website should have a proper access control, that who can access what things, right? If I am a normal user, then I must be able to access normal users functions and features, and if I am admin, then I'll be able, like I should be able to access higher privileges things. So this is a common difference. Now next, move on, let's just, okay, recording is working properly. Okay, now race condition. If you have attended the previous session of Nextgen Cybersafe, you must be aware about race conditions, right? So race condition is also a common vulnerability, which is basically, okay, wait, a best example of race condition is a coupon code option in websites. So like for example, a website has a, like there is a e-commerce site Amazon. Okay, Amazon has an offer where if you use 123 XYZ, this is a coupon code for 20% discount. Okay, for example, this is a coupon code, you can see in the chat. Okay, and also you can see my screen, I am explaining in the chat. This is the code, and this is the discount I am getting through this code. So for example, I like add some specific items to cart, then I use this code. So on the final price I got 20% discount. Okay, so my final price is basically 20% off from the original price. Now what I'll do is, basically in the website, let me like brief you about a mechanism. For example, if I use this coupon code in the website, okay, so what will happen is, website will first verify that this is a valid coupon code. Okay, then it will apply that coupon code with specific amount of discount, and then it will send another request, like there another basically a service, or we can say another activity will happen in the backend. So what it will do is, it will basically block this code for now. Why it will block? Because we are not supposed to use this same code multiple times. We cannot use the same code. Like what if I am able to use this same code 3 times, then I'll get access to 20 into 360% discount. But obviously that is like not a supposed behavior, that is not supposed to happen. So website, once I apply once, if the code is used once, then website will simply block it. Okay, so let's just understand it again. First is verify, then apply, and then block. So basically all the processes takes some time, right? Some milliseconds, some seconds, few seconds, or as I said, few milliseconds. Every single process takes some kind of delay, right? Like there is no instant process. Like uh, basically, I clicked and it immediately happened. We can see it immediately happening, but still there are few milliseconds, right? There are few milliseconds which is being taken by website to perform those operations. So basically in those milliseconds, if I am able to apply the code multiple times, then I'll be able to bypass this restriction, and I am able to, like, I can get more discount. So basically what I am doing is I'll be able to use this same code multiple time, and as much as I use this code I'll get more discount, right? So what basically, for example, now let's understand with time. So for example, code is verified now. Okay, then it is applied. Now a request is sent. Okay, request will be sent, and there is a delay of maybe 900 millisecond. Okay, 900 millisecond, and then the code will be blocked. Like code block request will be sent, and like approx into 900 milliseconds the code will be successfully blocked. So in this 900 millisecond, what if I'm able to apply this code multiple times? I applied once, it is verified, and before the server blocks it to, like, blocks me to use that same code again, I use the code multiple times before it it gets blocked, right? Then basically I am able to exploit this race condition vulnerability and get multiple discounts using the same code. For example, I just use this code and I get the 20% discount. Okay, now website will send that request, and during that time I sent these number of requests again. So what will happen is, before this is blocked, maybe 1 2 3 4 and 5 times the code is applied, and then the 900 milliseconds are over, and it is successfully blocked, and this sixth one won't work because it's now blocked. So before it gets blocked, we can use it multiple time. If we are able to use it multiple time before it gets blocked, then it is a simple race condition vulnerability. These kind of vulnerabilities are complex in, if we like understand it in a basic way or a theoretical way, and once we get into practical, these kind of vulnerabilities are way easier. So like, I just gave you a brief about all the vulnerabilities. If you want detailed session about it, then like we'll also arrange that in future. So like, if we have the enough demand for these sessions. And okay, so let's see. Here in Bobsuit there is a repeater option. So in the repeater, we can multiply the same request. Okay, for example, let's go to a site which is snapfish.com. Most probably this was the domain where I tested this vulnerability. Okay, yep, this is the website. So here, for example, in applying coupon code, if I am able to apply the same code multiple times, then basically this is a simple race condition vulnerability. Let's just try to perform it again. I know it is fixed now, so we won't be able to perform it obviously, but let's just try to get it. Okay, for we can just go to ports figure. Alright, let me just set up. So kindly wait till I set up this vulnerability so you can get a better understanding. I know these, like the first vulnerability and the second SSRF was a little bit easier, and the vulnerability I explained after that are a bit complicated. But like, yep, we'll have to learn about these vulnerabilities too, right? So we can get successful in our bug bounty journey. Here maybe this one is a common example. Yep, let's access this lab. Okay, what's wrong? Let me see. As I said, till then you can ask your doubts. Okay, so the website is on now. So here we have a promo code promo 20, and there is a jacket. I like this jacket. I want to buy it now. So what I'll do is I'll add it to cart, then go to my cart, and here I can add my coupon code. I'll apply it, and okay, there is some kind of technical issue or maybe internet issue. Let's see. Okay, so let's just apply this code, and okay, it's already applied. Okay, yep, it is applied. So the original price was 1337, and after applying 20% discount it became 1069. Okay, now let's exploit the race condition vulnerability. So okay, let me explain this again. So what happened here is I click applied, then website will verify this promo 20 and see that this is a valid code and it returns 20% discount. Then the discount will be applied and then the code will be blocked for further use. Okay, so I clicked apply, and okay, it took some time, right, to process this. So during this time, if before the code is blocked, okay, if I try again, then it will be blocked. Coupon code already applied, so it is blocked now. It is basically blocked. So now let's try to apply the same coupon code multiple times using race condition. So let's first of all we'll have to intercept this request, apply, and okay, here's the request. Now let's go to repeater, drop this request, go back. Okay, now I'll by clicking control R I can duplicate this as much as I want. So like let's create 12 requests, add a new group, and in the group we'll add all these vulnerabilities. I know maybe these concepts are new for some of you, but burp suit is also easy. If you want a dedicated session on burp suit, then we'll also create a session, like we'll also organize a session specifically on burp suit. Right, the next session, okay, the next session will be bug bounty tools, where we'll learn about bug bounty tools and how we can use those tools from brief, so you can understand it properly. Okay, so let's learn about this. Promo code is 20, and now what I'll do is I'll send the group, like all the requested will be sent like at once. We won't send individual requests, all the requests will be sent at once. So there are higher chances that if the requests are sent at once, like at a single time frame, then there are higher chances that before that some millisecond, as I said, there are few milliseconds that website takes to block that code. Before it gets blocked, we can this coupon code can be applied multiple times, right? So let's try it. Let's see. Okay, it is applied, maybe it is applied 9 times. Yep, okay, no, few of them are blocked, and it is applied in most of the time. Why? Because the website took like a higher time to process this, and in that time we are able to apply this code multiple time. And let's see, it is 280. The price, the actual price we get after the coupon code, it was 1056, right? Now we use this same method to get extra discount, maybe around 80-90% discount, right, on this specific product, and our price is reduced to $280, right? Isn't it amazing? It is, right? So this is the race condition vulnerability, and this is the common example of race condition vulnerability, where we can send multiple requests at a time and apply more than like more than it is supposed to return, more discount than it is supposed to return. So basically it was 20% discount, but maybe according to me we are able to take around 80 to 90% discount on this specific product using race condition vulnerabilities. These kind of vulnerabilities generally arise in coupon code function and few other functions, but generally in coupon code function in e-commerce sites like Amazon, Flipkart, etc. E-commerce site like Amazon, Flipkart. Other than that, like on the Amazon, Flipkart, okay, we can't find these kind of vulnerabilities that easily in those websites. But there are also other, websites. There are lots of e-commerce site out there, so you can find, like, you can pick any target and find these vulnerabilities. You can find the targets at HackerOne, Bugcrowd, and etc. And also, those who have attended session will get a certificate for the session, for attending the session. Everyone who have attended the session will get a certificate of participation. Okay, so let's just see the next slide. Okay, so it is the conclusion of our whole session. Uncover hidden flaws, look beyond the obvious vulnerability that the easy to miss issues. So basically, we are supposed to find the vulnerabilities which are like not generally found by other attackers. If we also like run in the same race where the big attackers or big hunters run, then obviously we won't be able to find any kind of vulnerabilities, because the skilled hackers already find these kind of vulnerabilities like XSS, SQL injection, CSRF, right? So what if we try some unique vulnerabilities which most of the attackers overlook? Then there are higher chances of us finding these kind of vulnerabilities, right? So there are lots of vulnerabilities like this which we can easily find and which are underrated. So we can look for those kind of vulnerabilities. We'll also have some future sessions where like we'll learn about those kind of vulnerabilities, bug bounty tools, then bug bounty tips and tricks, how to approach a target, how to do recon, information gathering, and everything about bug bounty hunting in our free webinars. So you can just follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, or you can join our WhatsApp group for further webinar updates. As I said, these webinars are free and you will also get the certificate for these webinars. Alright, so leverage tool strategically. So use powerful tools like Burp Collaborator to detect and exploit vulnerabilities. Okay, yes, I forgot to tell you about Burp Collaborator. So to find the SSRF using Burp Collaborator, what you can do is there is an option to copy to clipboard here. So we can copy a payload here, and for example, I am pasting it here, but understand that this is a website's parameter or any field where we paste the link. And what we did in SSRF, right, we make the website or the server send the request, right? So what if the like if we enter or like input this specific value copied from collaborator to any specific place and then press enter, if the website sends the request to this domain, then we'll get a request here as we got. But this is my own IP address, like this request is sent by me. But if the website sends the request, then we'll get the IP address and DNS information of that website. So if we get the request in Bob Collaborator, that means the website is sending the request, is right. If we don't get any kind of request in Bob Collaborator, then website is not sending the request. So what we can like do, basically copy this and paste it anywhere. For example, it had the URL and we paste it here, send it. So what it will do, it will send the request to what if the if the website send the request to this specific domain, then it will be listed here. And if it get listed here, then website has SSRF vulnerabilities. You don't have to do further exploitation. If you just saw the if you just provide the companies a screenshot or screen recording for this of this Burp Collaborator, then they'll definitely accept your vulnerability. And like SSRF is basically high priority, high severity vulnerability, generally P2. So it has a bounty of around $1,000. And even the IDOR can be also P5, P4, P3, P2, and even P1. It basically depends on the operation we are able to perform through IDOR. If we are just able to access someone else's account, then maybe it will be P2 or P3. If we are able to access the admin panel, or if we are able to access some high privileges features, like, or we are able to modify someone else's account, we are able to get the password of someone else's account, then it can be P2 or P1. If we are able to if we are able to harm the server, then most probably our vulnerability will be considered P1, or else it can be P2, P3, or even P4, not P5. Sorry, I mistake there. uh, it can't be P5 because IDOR is a sensitive vulnerability. And earlier, let me introduce to some of my own example of IDOR. So, like, maybe a few weeks earlier, I found a IDOR in the website. I can't reveal the name due to obvious reasons. So, in that website, I was able to access website's email through IDOR. So basically, website, I don't know why, but website had like stored all the emails that they sent to user, and it had a particular user ID. So I used some tools in the terminal like wayback URL and GAU to extract some URL. We'll also learn about these kind of tools. So to I extracted some URLs and got the IDs for those email, and used it in that parameter to access the emails which are sent by the website to other users. So obviously this is a critical this is a critical thing, that we are able to access the emails sent by the website, right? This is my own example. I found this vulnerabilities few weeks earlier. And also in a very famous website, another example, I was able to access like a user profile which had sensitive details about that user. I can't reveal the website nor the details which I found, but there were sensitive details which I found using IDOR, and also was able to access the emails. So IDOR is also like a great vulnerability. Then also the SSRF, race condition, authentication issue, authorization issues. All these are like very common vulnerabilities. You can find it in websites. So okay, my content is over now. You can ask your doubts or any kind of any other vulnerability which you want to learn about, any extra vulnerability. So I'll cover that, or else we'll close the meet. Okay, anyone, any doubts, any other question, any extra vulnerability which you want to learn? Okay, maybe everyone is clear about the doubts and all. Okay, race condition vulnerability is something new for us. Thank you so much. You are welcome. I'm glad that I am able to provide some unique content to all of you.
Sir, I want to ask something, sir.
Yeah, sure, you can ask.
What is CORS and how to
Co
exploit it?
Okay, CORS is cross origin resource sharing. So basically, cross origin resource sharing is what, like, basically website share the the details outside it actual domain. For example, if we send a request to a specific website, and in the response we'll get the data for ourselves in our own site. If we are able to, there is a header in website called origin. There is a header in a request, HTTP request, called origin. If we modify the origin header to a specific our domain, like if my website is xyz.com, then the data will be like the sensitive data of that website will be shared outside of that server. Generally the data is supposed to be transferred in between the servers, like inside the server, from a specific domain to another domain, one page to another page in a single website. If I'm able to transfer those sensitive data outside that website to my own website or to my own server, then it is CORS, cross origin resource sharing, which means sharing the resources outside our server or our domain or our main origin, cross origin resource sharing. So this is what CORS means. If you want the practical sessions, then we'll also arrange it in future.
Okay, sir. Tell me something about RFI.
Okay, remote file inclusion.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so basically RFI is it is basically, it's very complicated vulnerability. So like it is hard for me to explain you it directly like this. Maybe I'll have to prepare a PPT for it. So okay, in future session we'll cover both CORS and RFI vulnerability, so you can get a better understanding about it,
Okay, sir.
because it's
Thank you.
hard for me to explain it without any kind of resources. Few vulnerabilities are easier, like CORS, I can just explain it by words, and few
Yes, sir.
vulnerabilities are complicated, so obviously I need some kind of PPT or something which I can present.
Sir, what is the first step of bounty starting?
Okay, so first is information gathering. In the hacking or bug bounty hunting, penetration testing, the first thing and most important thing is information gathering, where we get the information about website, like its subdomain, name, servers, its IP address, then like technologies being used in websites, the endpoint of website, the website's whole structure. We will have to understand the backend, like how the specific functions work, then list of functions. So this is what recon means. So we'll have to gather all these kind of information about a website, like what are the technologies, if it's like used in PHP, then or Java, or maybe .NET, or whatever language. So like MySQL, it is a database basically. So we'll have to learn about the technologies being used in that website, then the subdomains, then through OSINT, open source intelligence tools, we can get the IP addresses of like origin IP of those websites. Origin IP, getting origin IP is also like a easy thing, and it is also good for bug bounty. We'll also cover that in future, practical about it. Okay, like due to lack of time we cannot cover those practicals right now, but okay, you can just email us about these kind of vulnerabilities which you want to learn. We'll definitely arrange a session about it. Okay. Okay,
Okay.
so where I was. Yep, so these are the vulnerabilities. Okay, anything else? Anyone? Anything else you wanna learn about? Okay, so I think the doubts are clear now. All right, everyone, then it was nice meeting. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll also arrange the same session, these kind of sessions in future. So to get information about it, you can follow us on our social media handles. Okay, so let me just give you my WhatsApp link. Okay, or all right, I okay, we'll post it on LinkedIn. Okay, so you can just join it through our LinkedIn profile. You can join our WhatsApp group through our LinkedIn profile. We'll add the link there. Okay, and other than that, you can follow us on Instagram and on LinkedIn to get regular updates about it. And also we are hiring digital marketing interns, so if any one of you is interested, or anyone of your friend, or any kind of your relative or your friend or any reference of you is interested in digital marketing intern position, then like we are hiring for those positions right now, so you can refer them. All right, and as I said, everyone will get the certificate maybe in half an hour or like most probably in an hour you will get the like certificate for this participation in this webinar. So you can post it on LinkedIn and add it to, maybe you can add it to your resume, post it on LinkedIn or wherever you want. You can just tag us in the LinkedIn, so like you get a good amount of fame, like the reach and fame for your post. All right, so everyone, have a good night. Thank you so much for joining this session and see you in the next session. All right, so bye. Everyone can leave the meet now. Well, good night.